Hello, my little Luxxes. This is another episode of not Luxxy Charms, but another episode of Coffee and Cosplay. And I am your host, Cosplayer Charsie Luxxx. And today's episode is going to be on theme with this month's theme of This is Halloween. With the month of This is Halloween and on theme for Coffee and Cosplay, since this is me talking about things that happen to me in my real life, kind of like story times and that kind of thing, what better way than to obviously talk about Halloween and how important Halloween is to me and the fact of how it shaped me into becoming a cosplayer today. And a major part of that is because of my love of dressing up, quite obviously. I also have to be careful because my computer has been, so we think what was going on with the audio, video, all those glitches that were happening for my last recordings might be because of the fact that my computer needs RAM or hard drive. I was gonna say hardware doesn't sound right. A hard drive. I am not computer savvy. I am not tech savvy. I am not even language savvy. I just love costumes and dressing up, and I enjoy being in front of the camera, apparently, so. And I'm just gonna have all kinds of technical difficulties during this episode. We will deal with it. I'm hoping that I'm not having any audio or video glitches going on, and I apologize if my heater's too loud, but it is ridiculously cold already. Even though it's October, it is freezing, and I am a summer baby through and through. Like, I love it when it is 80 degrees out, if not hotter. I am weird. I know I'm weird. I've accepted that. So when it starts getting cold, I'm not happy. I'm not enjoying it. I would prefer to be sweaty and just sweltering in the heat. I know I'm weird. I accept it. But my husband obviously is enjoying this weather and loving it. But anyway, back on topic so that I don't... Well, actually, no, This is one of those episodes where I can be rambly if I want to, because it's just me talking about anything and everything that I really want to talk about. And if you want to be here and join me on my weird ramblings, one, I appreciate you, so thank you for joining me here, and I appreciate every single one of you that comes and gives me feedback, just anything that you've been. I appreciate everything that you guys do to help me out and to help me learn. Obviously, we are not here for the negative comments and weird stuff like that. Obviously, it comes with life that not everything is perfect. And like I always tell everyone, I'm not perfect, not in any way. It's just when you get the rude, mean comments, that's not okay. Like, no. I'm here for constructive criticism, not that kind of bullshit. But anyway, like I said, I'll be rambly. I don't have scripts. I really don't have scripts anyways. I'm very impromptu. Even when I wrote my own stories for like the Lady Elizabeth ghost story that I had done, that I tried reading it off of a teleprompter, but I was having a lot of difficulty and that just wasn't for me. So I have discovered that I like being impromptu and just kind of coming up with stuff on a whim. But I do need to learn to at least kind of have footnotes for myself. Where here, yeah, I can be all over the place. Anyway, so I almost said to begin my tale. No, we're not telling a tale. We're talking about my life and where basically my love of cosplay got started. And it started as a kid because I always loved to dress up, and obviously Halloween was always my favorite. But I mean, it was also the spooky season, but the number one reason was because got to dress up, got to be different, didn't have to be yourself for an entire day. And as you would get older, like, you could even dress up for parties on the weekend and go hang out with friends, and I got a love and a zest for it. But I even was one of those people that even when it wasn't Halloween, especially if other people, I mean, when I was a kid, I would dress up and I would come up with these costumes and just kind of like, and I would try even like pretending like I was a character. And I guess you could call it role play, but it's you're role playing with yourself, sometimes in the mirror, which I have heard that there are a lot of actors and actresses that used to practice acting in that, just like that. So I never became famous or anything like that. I guess even Jim Carrey would do that as well, and that's how he would teach himself his impersonations, that he would be in front of a mirror. But obviously I didn't become famous like he did in any way or form, and I don't think that I could do it because of my nerves. I don't know. I would love to try, but at the same time I enjoy this kind of stuff. And we all know while watching my episodes how much I slur my words and slip over myself. And this is just coffee. Just coffee. That's it. But even with the neighbor kids, we all used to get together, and I want to say it was their mom who had all these old dresses that came from, I want to think, like a colonial thing where they were all dressing up, and it would make sense because there used to be Civil War reenactments and things like that. So she had this huge box of dresses that she just gave to all of us, that if we wanted to play dress up that we could, and it kind of just developed and stemmed from there. And these were some really nice, really awesome, cool dresses that we could all wear and like run around in. I never got the zest to be in theater. I like to be the person that was behind the scene for theater, so helping with makeup and that kind of stuff, or helping with the sets. And I did a lot of paintings for sets and that kind of stuff, but I never really wanted to be the one that was the center of attention. The only time that I ever did any kind of plays was for my church, when I would help with the Christmas ones. I can't remember what they were called. I mean, it was probably something special, but it was basically just the little Christmas plays where the kids and the junior hires would put on a play for all the parents and everything. So nothing huge or special. But that was really the only time that I was doing any form of theater and that kind of stuff. Ugh, the only problem with these is that the headband on this is tight. So, gonna have to somehow loosen this thing at some point in time. So, I can't imagine if I'm going to have a headache after this or not. Why not? Let's just add it in with everything else that's been going on in my life. Oof. See if we can loosen her up. Maybe. They're cute as hell, but dear God, tight. That's what she said. Anyway. Ugh. You know, if it's not a hood, it might as well be a headband that's giving me issues. Why not? So, move into obviously getting older and just realizing that I didn't have the confidence to be in theater. Didn't have that kind of zest. Not at that point in time, and I don't know why. I really don't. But I think it stemmed from the fact that I don't want to say that like I was singled out and was like bullied by a majority of the school or that kind of thing. But I mean, I was a weird kid. Very, very weird. Like, I probably got known as the kid that would talk to herself and I was weird. And I can admit that I was a weird kid. That's not the personality that I am now. I mean, I'm still weird, and I'll admit I'm weird, but I accept that I'm weird. As a kid, you didn't like it, was bullied, I was friends with all the other weird kids. So I really didn't want to be in theater and that kind of stuff, because it's like I didn't want to be the center of attention. I think that's why I didn't do theater and that kind of stuff. I didn't like singing in front of people unless it was in a group. If I was a part of like the chorus and choir and that kind of stuff, totally fine. But if it was like just me or even me doing a duet, nope, didn't want that. Didn't want to be the center of attention. Like I said, I wasn't popular or anything, nothing like that, which me looking back on it now, I'm glad it wasn't. But yeah, which is probably why I had no interest in theater. Because guess what? You're gonna be the center of attention if you have any of the speaking roles. I mean, yes, I could have been one of the behind the scene characters, whatever. This was supposed to be about me and my love for dressing up in Halloween. So, moving into Halloween, that my favorite time of the year to get the most excited was always for Halloween, because I could get to dress up. And you could be whatever you wanted to be. And as you would get older, it was fun for me to dress up in very cute or sexy costumes to do with my girlfriends, and this was back before they had age limits, when they hit a point when they started telling teenagers you can't go trick-or-treating anymore. And I'm sorry, I would rather have done that, which we did. We were some of the last of the generations that, even up to senior year, me and my friends, every year, would dress up. And we usually would dress up sometimes as a group theme. I think the one time we dressed up as like the Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls mixed together, because there was about 8 to 10 of us, pending who could all make it. And I think the last year we went, we all dressed as Catholic schoolgirls, or just schoolgirls in general. So yeah, a whole group of us dressed like that. But I would have rather of us had done that, because then they started saying teenagers shouldn't be allowed to go out trick-or-treating and that. And it's like, would you rather us have been doing the alternative, which we knew that the rest of our class, what they were doing, was going to Halloween parties, and they were all drinking and doing the stuff behind, I mean, obviously we knew they were doing it, but we were legitimately going door to door trick-or-treating because we loved it. We enjoyed it. It was fun. We could be a kid again, and we just loved dressing up and having fun. And I didn't think any of us were being disrespectful. Granted, there were other ones that probably were, but they had finally hit a point where they're like, yeah, teenagers aren't allowed to go trick-or-treating anymore. In fact, I think they had the cutoff time, like the cutoff age was like 12 or 13. I love seeing the memes where they're like, you know what? If a kid wants to go and they want to trick-or-treat, let them. I mean, let them go trick-or-treating, because kids have to grow up so fast nowadays. And if a kid wants to go out and actually be a kid, give them the candy bar. Don't scoff at them. Let them enjoy what little bit of childhood they have left, because adulthood sucks. majorly sucks. Obviously over time, when we all started going to college and that, it turned into you could have the adult parties. Well, the fun thing is that my sister-in-law, her birthday is actually on Halloween. So then it turned into every year for her birthday on Halloween, she would have a Halloween costume birthday party. But it was still fun that every year while I was going to college, we'd still come back and have Halloween parties with my sister-in-law for her birthday. Then, as an adult, it's even more fun to be able to dress up into costumes and go out, because then when you become 21, you can start dressing up and going to the Halloween costume parties at like bars and that kind of stuff, or clubs, and that kind of stuff is a lot of fun when you can be dressed up and you can be dancing. And I even remember, actually the perfect example to use would be if in Hocus Pocus, when the parents went to that like Halloween ball night, that I remember my parents the one year took me and my brother with them to that. It was one of the small towns that they did something similar, that it's like a lock-in, but it's a Halloween dance, and they had punch and candy and games and of course food and dancing, and I just remember that being so much fun. I think I was dressed as Nala that night. I don't know why I remember that, but I think I was Nala. From The Lion King. So if you don't know what Nala is, sorry, The Lion King. One of the few Disney princesses that I ever dressed up as. So Nala technically is one, and the other one was Jasmine. Although most people would be like, Nala wasn't one. She became queen when she got married to Simba, but whatever. Anyway, this is the weird I'm talking about. Developed into my college years, where the only time it was acceptable to be dressed up was when you had Halloween. But cosplay started being on the rise. And obviously cosplay has been around for years. The first time that you started seeing cosplayers was technically around the 1970s into the 1980s. And it started with Star Trek fans. So Trekkies technically were the original cosplayers, where they would dress up as their favorite characters or their favorite aliens, and would go to these conventions to meet their favorite actors and actresses. So conventions really are the start of the cosplay. And it's really cool to think of that because of Star Trek, that's where it developed. But let's face it, takes a group of sci-fi weirdos to come up with, hey, I'm going to dress up like the character that's my favorite character, and go meet that actor or actress dressed as them. And so it's a really fun concept when you think about it and what it developed into. So cosplay's been around for a while, but it was never seen as a popular thing until more recently. And I really wish that when I had graduated from NIU in 2012, that I would have started doing cosplay then. And that's when all my favorite cosplayers really started to become popular and to become more known. So you had Jessica Negri, you had Yahan and Ivy Doomkitty and all of them around. So you had the rising of cosplay, I should say. But you had all these women and men that I admired that were dressing up and that were being able to reenact all these characters, where just over time it was like, I really love this too. So obviously through the rise of seeing all these cosplayers that I admired, so anything that we could find the zest for life on, so for Renaissance fairs we loved and enjoyed, and obviously we learned to fall in love with Dungeons and Dragons, so that started with well, technically role play. And obviously we're helping with the haunted attraction, so every weekend we could dress up in whatever kind of horror characters we wanted. So it's been a long line of things to develop to where I just had this huge long catalog of all these cosplayers and alternative models that I was saving their pictures, and I just absolutely loved everything that they did. And I would find myself that in my own spare time I was creating makeup looks. But then finally we developed friends that they wanted to do all these things with us, where they wanted to dress up with us, they wanted to help with the haunted attractions, they wanted to go to the Renaissance fairs with us. And then I got my friend Josh, who got me to fall in love with comics. And obviously then that developed even more interest for me for characters. He's also the friend that took Argonon and I to our first conventions. So obviously being able to go and dress up at an actual convention is even more thrilling than, just seeing the pictures of everything happening. And obviously my first few cosplays, they were cute and everything, but they were starters. And obviously I'm not fancy in any way or form. I'm not fancy at all. And as I always say, I am a closet cosplayer. I like having what's on hand. I don't sew. I can sew, and I have sewn pieces before, and I have made a lot of my pieces for original costumes, but with my full-time job now, I don't have the time for it, and with my hyperhidrosis, I don't want to say it's not for me. Maybe someday I will develop into that, but I don't know. I would prefer putting my time into just finding pieces. Like, I go to thrift stores and will find pieces, or even if I'm at a store and I find deals, I will buy stuff. Like, for instance, this I found at Walmart while my husband and I were buying stuff for obviously groceries and that kind of stuff. Well, obviously when they had their Halloween stuff out, it's like, well, this is cute, I could use this for something. Everything is just found pieces, so except for my nails. I gotta do my plug for my friend D. So these were Bride of Frankenstein nails that I had won. If you haven't got nails, you better go get nails. I am always going to be off and on topics and conversations. Maybe because my head's being squeezed right now. But obviously, from I can't say hundreds and hundreds of Halloween parties and that kind of stuff, because there's no way I've dressed up that many times, but I have dressed up multiple times between Halloween, conventions, Renaissance fairs, and that kind of stuff, for the haunted attractions I've helped out with. And now, obviously, becoming Charsie Luxxx. Obviously, we all know what happened from there and where I'm at now. I have been on this weird journey this whole time, because as soon as I started the online presence and introduced myself as Charsie Luxxx, and I've done so much since I've started that, because I did the Hackslash podcast, then moved into the YouTube with DC for Little Channel of Horrors, and then it developed into I wanted to do my own thing and develop something to create. Well, essentially, this is where I ended up, because obviously I've always loved YouTube, and where the development of that was that you could watch people's story times, you could listen to people talk about ghost stories, and the makeup videos. Obviously, I've stemmed away from the makeup videos, and I have a very weird brain. Like, I'm not very good with multitasking, and my mouth doesn't move as fast as my brain. So I have to always learn to slow down. But I can't process things fast enough that if I'm doing my makeup, to be able to regurgitate a story, and my words never come as fast as they're in my brain. So hopefully that makes sense. I would love to continue Get Readies with me. I don't know if I should make another channel for that. I already don't have time for the stuff that I'm already doing, and I'm so thankful for this channel because this is my getaway from everything and my opportunity to be able to be creative like this. And I definitely want to say thank you to everyone that does take their time out of their day to come and listen to me ramble, be ridiculous, be silly. So thank you for joining me here, and obviously that should be enough to talk about, like, because I mean, like I said, I started with me as a kid just loving to dress up and being excited to be able to actually dress up in front of people for Halloween and not get judged, and obviously, like I said, didn't go into theater or anything like that. I didn't want to be the center of attention. Apparently that's changed, because I don't know. I should say here it's a little different. In person, I'm very weird in person. I'm shy. I'm still a shy person. I'm like a weird in-between introvert, extrovert. Like, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, online and the people I know, I'm chatty catty. I can talk to anybody that I know or that I'm comfortable with. Or like I said, online it's fine. This is fine. Even though it's like the thought process is, you know, you're posting it online and thousands and thousands of people can come and see it. It's like, it's a little different. It's not the actual presence in front of me. Whereas if I'm in a convention and I don't know someone, I'm very standoffish. I hope that give you a little more introduction of me, and I'll have to chop this video up just so it's not me rambling too bad. We'll see. When I come up with a concept on it, which is really good, I need to give myself some footnotes and be like, hey, here's this point, talk about this. Here's this point, talk about that. Yeah. But obviously then, from my love from childhood, from costumes up to adulthood, and it's always stuck with me, and obviously I still love doing it, and I love makeup and the development with it and what you can do with it. And so obviously I would love to see where it continues for me and what I can do with it. And like I said, I might even eventually start having to deal with the cat again. I might eventually start making my own costume pieces again. I have a whole bunch of leather that I eventually want to start working on some pieces, but it's just with the way that my work has been lately, when I come home, you're lucky that I even have the drive to work on edits, because most of the time I just come home and I'm brain dead. I don't even know how I function some days. But anyway, I want to thank you for joining me here on another Coffee and Cosplay, and hopefully come back. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And obviously, if you want to continue watching me on the rest of my other, or come join me on my other social medias, you can join me on my Twitter for Charsie Luxxx with 3 X's, or on my Instagram for Charsie87. They won't allow me to be Charsie Luxxx. I still can't figure out why. Or on my other YouTube channel with my friend DC that I already talked about, for a little channel of horrors. And as always, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your afternoon, the rest of your evening, the rest of your night. I don't say mornings. But enjoy your morning, wherever you are. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. I guess even Jim Carrey, when he was a kid, used to. Oh, this thing's gonna give me a headache. There we go. Yes, my sexy face. But anyway, I guess it's one of the few Disney princess. My brain. Just poof. That's what keeps happening lately. Don't get overworked at work. You'll slowly see your brain cells leaving one by one. Just little specks gone. Random bug. Once again, look at these nails.